Hello everyone who just wants to fill a bus with explosives and shoot it out of a gun because it's actually a shell. I am BorderWise, and welcome back to From the Depths. I have a confession to make. For the longest time in my running of this YouTube channel and my, I guess, being a thing in the From the Depths community, at least in the YouTube section, I've become known as the CRAM guy, because I use CRAM cannons a lot. In fact, my first tutorials on this channel were about CRAM cannons, because I liked them, because I was a noob who didn't know how to use advanced cannons. But, in recent times, I have not been using CRAM cannons much for realsies, like in playing through campaigns and whatnot, because they're such a specialized weapon, and once you get good at using, like, literally any other weapon category, and especially advanced cannons, your kind of dependency on CRAM cannons tends to fade away, because there's pretty much one kind of target they're good at dealing with, and that is surface targets, which do not move too fast, which do not have excessive amounts of anti-munition defense, and which move slowly enough so you could actually hit them. Or slowly and predictably enough, I should say. So I've been brute forcing my way back into, like, making decent CRAM setups, because there is a trick to them. The hardest part of CRAMs and using them isn't so much building the CRAM cannon, although once you get the hang of 3D Tetris, and this is 5 connection Tetris, by the way, these are fairly big CRAM cannons, because again, CRAMs are best when they're big, getting that nice 5-way connection, which is material efficient, but also volume efficient as well. Very nice. Thank you, Elena, once again, for showing me that. But the trick is the vehicle you're putting them on, more than anything else. So, I wanted to share a few tricks. This is not an exhaustive list. If you have more tips and tricks for, like, making CRAMs effective and useful, by gum, share them in the comment section, because me and all the other CRAM gunners would absolutely love it. You'll notice something immediately, something very handy-dandy, is synchronized fire. In the oldie days, you'd use firing delays to get an effect like this, but even if you've got a bunch of big CRAM cannons, like splitting up their shells just a little bit, well, splitting up their firing, really helps improve the likelihood that at least one, like that one, actually hits the target. So I'll show you what I've done here. So in a nice line across, where is it? I believe this one. Yep, so that one fires, and then this one fires, and just going down the row. Minimum delay is just half a second, maximum delay is 1 second, maximum waiting time is 5 seconds, so that's not important. The important thing is that when you split your CRAM fire over more than 1 second per volley, if you've got your aimpoint selection card over here set to 1 second, it means that during the volley, your CRAMs switch to aiming at a different block, which is very, very handy if you're aiming at something that is like, I don't know, so for instance, one particular thing that CRAMs love to aim at is, well, they don't love to aim at it, they just noticeably miss when they try it. Say our CRAM cannon, the volley starts and it's aiming for, like, this little paddle block, like over here, which is spinning, which really throws off the AI's aim. But even if all the first 4 miss, the last one will kind of change its mind and do something better. Let's see if it manages to do that. It hasn't, but it didn't need to. Like, it is great fun to disintegrate a marauder. So yeah, that's the first obvious trick. That's like the first visually apparent trick right here. But the next one is something I was mucking around with and I thought I didn't work very well, and then I tried it again and found, oh no, this can work, you just need to do it right. So the detection of this thing is set up to a slightly more CRAM-friendly one. I guess this is actually the second trick. So the default aiming, this does work kind of fine for CRAM cannons, but bearing in mind that CRAM projectiles are kind of slow, it does help to just increase this a little bit. I do find that in some situations, with things that are moving in a kind of pattern, wiggling back and forth, so to speak, or turning in particular, just adding 1 second onto this does seem to help. I really should have, it just occurred to me, gone and checked, like, the nastier Cramcraft in the Nitro campaign, things like the Bulwark, the Stronghold, and stuff like that, to see what the... Let's actually see what their detection's like. You know what, Lena? While we're here, let's go here. Let's see what the Bulwark's main CRAM thing is, because I want to get this right. Alright, so we're here. And so, interesting. Alright, so that's Melchior. Let's see, hold on. Let's see which AI is actually controlling the CRAM cannons. That CRAM cannon, this is connected to... That's Caspar. Okay, so if we go here and look at what... That is connected to Melchior, but Caspar is set to just the default. Alright, so I'm not completely wrong here. But Melchior, I believe, is the one controlling the APS. Actually, the APS on the Bulwark is like something immense. It's damn good for what it is. It's really good at shooting things down. Alright, so let's go back over here. So let's see. Yep, that's connected to Balthazar. What the hell? What the hell? I'm confused. So Melchior is what? Interesting. Alright, so the Bulwark doesn't use the thing I use. It uses something slightly different. But that's fine. Moving right along. The detection wasn't actually the thing I was wanting to show you. But you need to know that bit before you know the next bit. So you see the speed averaging time is 3. That's just the longest, the biggest number here. Over here, which is it? There's a pair of ACBs. So before the before the bakers in the crowd start yelling, I don't know how to do this with Breadboard. Presumably you can easily. I just found it easier to do it with ACBs. Basically, by default, this thing's weapons are off. Particularly the AI controlling the CRAM cannon. So if there is no enemy within 2,000 meters, it will turn weapons off. And it is set to control a named block, which is CRAM control, and that's the main AI of this test fortress right here. And then when there is an enemy within 2,000 meters, it'll turn the weapons back on. Now, it's 2,000 meters because you do tend to find that CRAMs are not good at long range. Even something that's standing still, they can miss due to instability and stuff like that. You might want to up this distance a little bit, maybe to 3,000 meters at most. But yeah, what this does, and we'll demonstrate that with something... What shall we demonstrate that with? What's something that's reasonably fast-ish? Let's go with something reasonably fast-ish. That's not very fast. Let's go with the Briar, just for giggles. So you'll notice that... let's pause the game for a second. You'll notice that this thing is... Oh, wait, no, that was... Was that player? No, it wasn't. Alright, so, it's turning the weapons back on, and there's a delay on that. That delay is 3 seconds, which means it gives the detection actually time to start tracking the main target, and actually give the CRAMs good information, because what CRAMs tend to do when they spawn in is the first thing they do is miss horribly, so your first volley of CRAM cannons, and this kind of goes for every weapon type, but especially CRAMs, your first volley is the one that's most important to hit. It's also the one that's most likely to miss. So hopefully, that little delay has given our CRAM cannons enough time to get good targeting information, and they're not firing uselessly off into the horizon, and first volley is good! Look at that! Alright, we knocked 2% health off it, so it wasn't amazing. What did that do? These are fairly chunky fragments. What do they do? Not much. They didn't hit a super good part of the... What am I talking about? They managed to disable this gun. Hell yeah. So that's a very useful trick. It might feel a little bit nail-biting to just have your guns turned off first thing, but it can be worth it if your guns are going to be stupid and, like, aim at completely the wrong thing to begin with. Oh, wow. Fragments must have gotten in nice and deep and done things here. What if that... Yep! That is... Wait, no. What? What's happening here? Oh, they have gotten in here. Neat. The power of slightly doomy cram frag is very nice. Very nice indeed. And I'm just going to Don't retreat when too close. Give us one more volley. One more volley for daddy. Bang, bang, bang. Yay! Awesome. How fast is this thing again? Top speed is 28 meters per second. Not that fast, but definitely fast enough to move just a little bit and make your first volley miss if you're not careful. So, that was trick number 3, I guess? You'll notice there's more ACBs over here. So, hopefully we get to see that. In fact, we'll see it right now, probably. So, what these CRAMs were doing... In fact, I should destroy the Briar quickly. So, these CRAMs are, in case anyone is wondering, this is an AP-timed frag. So it's hardener, it's frag, 180 degrees, and the fuses are set up like this. So pretty much, huh? Alright. I need to show the trick again. Let's spawn in the Briar again, see if this works. Yep, okay, so... For the opening volley of a fight, that is what they are. They are AP-timed fuse. You'll notice there's a fuse that popped up in here that wasn't there before. This is because there's now a combination of ACBs and Breadboard doing interesting things. These two ACBs activate complex keys, which is an ancient but still very useful way of making things happen on your craft and from the depths. If the enemy targeted is... above 80% health, it will activate complex key F. If it is below 80% health, it will activate complex key T. Why are we activating these complex keys? Because over here in Da Breadboard, these complex keys are controlling the fuse box, and they're controlling the fragmentation angle. So over here, if F equals true, so basically if the thing is over 80% health, it is activating the time from launch fuse. It is like setting that to be true, activate it. And then if T equals false, basically if T is true, it turns the CRAM into a hollow point, which is very useful because hollow point CRAMs are usually not worth it because they don't penetrate and they don't do anything. However, against something that's already been hollowed out a bit, and particularly against something that is already taken damage, that's crippled, hollow point can be quite useful because this kind of AP time frag CRAM is really good at crippling enemies. It's not very good at finishing them off because the fragments tend to just kind of like poke holes in things and not actually rip blocks off, so to speak. So see right there, that is very excellent damage. Only 2% health taken off. But you'll see it's already taken out steam turbines and stuff like that, which is very, very nice. However, when this Briar drops below 80% health, that Breadboard setup with the complex keys will switch the CRAM from a AP-timed fuse to a only inertial fused hollow point, and it will also change the fragmentation angle from 180 degrees to about 80 degrees or so. Let's go have a double check. What have I done here? Here. So yeah, so what we have here is we have a constant of 80 feeding into the signal that we pass along by the switch. T equals false, and that is the switching signal. It must exceed the threshold of 0.5, which means 1 for Boolean logic, but it's just fine. And that feeds into the fragmentation angle data right there. So the open value is 180, the closed value is 80, and it works very well. And this really does help to finish things off. These particular CRAMs are actually pretty good generally at despawning things without even needing to switch to the hollow point, but I do find when they do drop something below 80% health, that really does help. So you see this thing's still above 80% health, and it's 80% because I do tend to find that with penetrating shots, if it's below 80% health, you've probably already taken out important bits already, which is very nice. This thing is shooting back too much, and I don't care for it. Oh, lovely. Alright, so now this thing is below 80% health. Briar was a good choice. Well done, me. So now you will see with this Le CRAM Canon that the angle of the fragments has changed to 80 degrees, and now it's doing impact damage instead of kinetic damage, and over here in the fusing box you'll see the time from launch is now disabled. So this is really helpful. So for those of you who are scared of using Breadboard, I also used to be scared of using Breadboard, but like you can do cool things with it like this, and it means that these CRAMs get some much needed versatility. They're not just a one-trick pony, and it means you can really go nuts on the kinetic damage, and you don't need explosive damage to do usually what this is. And as I said, this thing is basically crippled. Like, all the guns are disabled. Admittedly, the Briar is smaller and cheaper than the kind of thing I'm planning these CRAMs for. By the way, these CRAMs I'm planning to put on an airship of some kind to really flatten fortresses. Yep, lots of delicious thump damage there. And the advantage of, like, hollow points and thump damage in general is that it's kind of more damage efficient. It's really good at just, like, putting 100% of what damage it has, like, into the target. Unlike AP penetrators, which are really good at bypassing armor, a hollow point just kind of smashes through it, and it's, like, really nice. So, yeah, the Briar was taken down no time flat, got crippled by AP time frag, and then the hollow points finished it off. So that's basically the CRAM tricks. I could have gone and done, I guess, research or something, like in the official From the Depths Discord, but this is just what I've figured out in figuring out this particular CRAM setup like this. And yep, incidentally, I have actually gotten fond of super firing turrets, which are just like turrets elevated a bit. There's room to stick underneath them. But anyway, that is some CRAM tricks. We need to shoot more Marauders. Let's just, actually, you know what we should do? We should shoot the Redeemer, because that's funny. So yeah, to recap, that's staggered fire for CRAMs, very helpful for a CRAM volley. It helps spread them out a little bit, helps their targeting, also stops them from getting hit all at once by flak and stuff like that. Very, very nice. Doing terrible things to our friend here, the Redeemer, that's the one. Second thing is detection. You can mess with it a little bit to make it hurt. The Anvil has interesting detection, but that's specifically for mortars. The default tends to work well, but I do tend to find giving them a little bit more time to track things also works darn well. Then just having them turned off to start off with, and then turned on once you've gotten good detection information on the target, can mean the difference between your first volley, like, missing horribly or not. And that, just the breadboard tricks to, like, change your CRAMs, like, you change the properties of your CRAM cannon depending on the situation. You don't need to do it exactly as I've done it here. There's, of course, like, endless things you could try. You could even, like, you could even do wacky things like set the minimum packing if, like, you're shooting at something small and tiny. So yeah, that's yeah. Like, it's CRAMs are fun. I am relearning the fun of CRAM cannons, and particularly the wonderful block confetti they can make. So, thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Support me on Patreon or YouTube membership if you like. It really helps, and there's fun perks in it for you. Like at the lowest tier, access to a Patreon exclusive Discord. We do fun events in there. And it's just a cool place to hang out. At the mid-tier, I will review your craft for you. I will be obligated to when asked. And at the highest tier, I'll even build stuff or draw stuff for you, which is a real hoot. I have art skills and FTD skills, allegedly. It is rumored. And do check out my other channels and my Twitch. My second channel is mostly a Sacred 2 channel. If you don't know what that game is, go treat yourself. It is, hilariously stupid and retro. But yeah, the Twitch is the main thing. We're building a whole ass custom campaign. I'd love to see you there in chat. Hassling me about, how to set up a remote guided missile. No, I don't have personal experience with that. Why do you ask? So anyway, thank you all so much. Have a great day. Happy baking and happy cramming. And I'll see you next time in From the Depths. Farewell. Show us your destiny, CRAM cannon. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. that CRAMmed.